right, Brett, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing pretty good.
Okay, our first podcast.
This is our very first podcast.
2 pastors in a pod.
Or P cubed.
Or what was the other one you said?
Or 3P.
3P, that's it. I like that one.
We'll have people type in the comments below or whatever what their ideas
I'm
or
good
what
with
they
that.
think.
I'm good with that. That's a good idea.
So how are you surviving the coronavirus?
So far, I'm surviving. I'm here. You're here.
Yeah. You came in today with a duffel bag. Normally you come in with a duffel bag on Thursdays for basketball.
Yes. But today I came in with a duffel bag because my gym closed.
That's not good for you.
It's not.
You gotta get
work out every day.
Hanselman gym. That's what you gotta get.
It's true. Well, actually, the person I'm going to work out with, the guy who has a home gym.
Oh, okay.
So I need that.
So you're
I
just
need
gonna
to work
mooch
out
off of him during the lockdown.
Yes, and hopefully he doesn't give me the
Quarantine.
virus, and hopefully I don't give him the virus.
If you get the virus, don't come into work.
Yes, I will not. But yeah, some of the articles I'm reading, I'm terrified. And then other articles I read and I'm like, it's going to be okay. But I just don't know. I don't know.
You sent me on Friday a quote.
I did.
Yeah, and so I thought that was really good. I thought that was something we could start off with our very first podcast with.
For sure.
P cubed.
So, P cubed.
It's going to stick.
It is. The more we say it, it'll just be natural. P cubed. Okay. So
2 pastors in a pod. Okay, go ahead.
So this is Martin Luther's response.
So who's Martin Luther? So
well, let me.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Let me get into this.
Okay.
So 1527,
Okay.
a plague strikes Wittenberg, which was the university town where Martin Luther lived, studied, great scholar, great Christian. And in 1527, a plague strikes Wittenberg, prompting his classes to be moved to an unaffected town.
Okay.
Kind of sounds similar to the social distancing that we're going through right now. Okay, but Luther, he refused to leave. He instead chose to venture his life on just caring for the people who were sick.
So he stayed in Wittenberg. And so he stayed there with all the infected people.
He
or
did.
at least that's where the virus was at.
Correct, and that's where it was most serious. And it actually says here that
Was this the plague? Do you know what?
Yes, I have it listed on here. It was the Black Plague.
The Black Plague.
Which was a big deal. It says here that it was particularly dreadful, boasting a fatality rate of 60 to 90%. Which
that's a lot more than
compared to COVID-19 or the coronavirus. We're only at 1 to 3%.
60 to 90%.
60 to 90% of the outbreaks resulted in death, which is a pretty serious number. Yeah. So
60 to 90%.
60 to 90 compared to 1 to 3%, which is what we're going through right now. Regardless, Luther, he actually transformed his home into a makeshift hospital.
Okay.
Which is pretty interesting.
So he welcomed all of these sick people into his house.
He did, and he went around and cared for the sick
So
people.
he was married by this point.
Mm-hmm.
So Martin Luther, he was a monk, and then he had a break with the Roman Catholic Church.
Right. Yep.
Had to renounce the whole monastery thing.
Yeah, and so what actually ends up happening here is Martin Luther's friend and a fellow pastor, a guy named Johann Hess, sends Luther a question.
Yeah.
And his question to Luther is whether it is proper for a Christian to run away from a deadly plague.
Right.
Okay. So I will just read for you now Luther's response to that question.
Before you get to his response, what would be your response? What would have been your reaction? You find yourself in Wittenberg, middle of the Black Plague.
Yes.
And you're a Christian, you're a follower of Jesus Christ. What would you do? You've got a family, you've got a wife, you've got kids you're looking after.
Yes. My initial
reaction... Would you say, let's get out of town, let's get out of Dodge here?
It would.
I think that would be my response too.
Because I'm looking at the COVID-19, what's going on right now, this coronavirus, stuff like that, and I'm thinking 1 to 3%.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty scared. And I'm not going to the gym, and I'm doing social distancing apart from P squared or P cubed or whatever.
I don't think this is 6 feet.
It's okay. But That's 1 to 3%. If we're talking 60 to 90%,
I'd be without a doubt.
I'm gone.
Lindsay, pack the bags, grab the kids.
I'm gone.
We're going up north.
Yeah,
and I'm even not up north. It probably wouldn't be safe.
Yeah, no, I'm getting out of there. I'm definitely not packing a gym bag and going over to my buddy's house to work out. I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah.
I'm gone. But when I read this quote from,
of course, of all things, hit the mute button.
When I read this quote from Luther, it changed my mind. My initial thought was, I'd run, and then I read this and I'm like, maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Again, we're at 1 to 3%. He's at 60 to 90%.
Yeah. There was a guy a few years ago, Francis Chan. You know Francis Chan. He wrote that book, Crazy Love.
Yes.
And he's talking about kind of living out your faith in a very radical way, almost. I mean, Radical is the title of another book. Who wrote that book? The book
David
Radical.
Platt?
Was that David Platt?
I could be wrong about that.
Okay.
I can look it up, hold on.
But anyways, I could see myself, after reading that book, thinking to myself, that's it. We're going to go into the streets. We're going to minister to the sick.
Yes.
And to the hurting.
Yeah.
And throw caution into the wind.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It is David Platt, by the way.
Is
that does Radical. But that's kind of what's interesting about Luther's quote here is he doesn't necessarily throw being precautious out. He doesn't say, let's just go crazy and, even if I'm sick, I'm still going to help the sick. He's very aware of his own situation.
Yeah.
But, he wants to help, but cautiously. And it's very wise to me. I mean, he was obviously a wise guy. So it's pretty interesting. It really is.
What did they call Martin Luther? Wasn't he the Morning Star of the Reformation?
I believe that's correct. I believe that's correct.
Is that it? Let me look it up real quick.
Yep. But what's interesting too is throughout this time when all these plagues were happening. I mean, you had the bubonic plague, which was especially deadly as well.
That was John Wycliffe.
Okay.
I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're good.
Totally
You're good.
Interrupted.
So you have all these plagues like the bubonic plague, now the black plague, and throughout these plagues there are these flight theologies that are being written. So you have all of these scholars writing these here's what you should do, here's what you shouldn't do, so on and so forth. Yeah. And that's kind of what stemmed Johann Hess to bring this question to Luther.
Yeah.
And when Luther first got it, he himself was actually so sick, it says here that he was too ill to reply to the first letter.
Really?
So Luther had been sick. He received the question the first time, no response. Second letter came through. Luther does respond.
What does he say?
That's pretty interesting. So here's what he says. This is Martin Luther's response to the question. I gotta find it on my sheet here. Whether it is proper for a Christian to run away from a deadly plague. Luther says, I shall ask God mercifully to protect us. There's prayer. Start off with prayer right away.
Acknowledges God's in ultimate control of his life, his ultimate destiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I shall fumigate, sounds like social distancing, to make that simple,
Pull out the Lysol spray.
Yes, yes, the hand sanitizer,
disinfectant spray,
Notice he doesn't say buy all the toilet paper.
Right, right.
Anyway, then I shall fumigate, help purify the air, administer medicine, and take it.
Oh, really?
So again, there he is aware of his own situation, but also taking care of others. I shall avoid places and persons where my presence is not needed in order not to become contaminated and thus inflict and pollute others and so cause their death as a result of my negligence.
So he's being very precautious.
Correct. He wouldn't have gone to the gym.
Right.
He would have shut that down because, again, that's not a place where he needed to be, per se.
Yeah.
If God should wish to take me, he will surely find me, and I have done what he has expected of me, and so I am not responsible for either my own death or the death of others.
Oh, that's good.
If my neighbor needs me, however, I shall not avoid place or person, but will go freely as stated above.
Yeah, so love your neighbor as yourself.
Precisely.
Yeah.
See, this is such a God-fearing faith because it is neither brash nor foolhardy and does not tempt God.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So you just see Luther being cautious, but also not running away, from the play, but also not being reckless.
Right.
You know, because I think this would be something you can easily be reckless with. Luther could be like, I'm going to show everyone how great I am.
Right.
I'm going to go, you know, he was very aware of his own situation.
Yeah.
He is very aware, if I'm sick, I'm staying away. But if I'm healthy, I'm going to trust the Lord. I'm going to pray, and I'm going to serve him, and I'm going to go and I'm going to help these people.
The first part there, too, gets me as well. He's talking about how he's not going to jeopardize somebody else's health.
Yeah.
And like we talked about this, you and I talked about this, I know I talked about this with the elders of our church here. You know, one way in which we can love each other is by not jeopardizing each other's health.
For sure.
And so that's exactly
what he's saying. Yeah, it's just being aware of that.
Right.
You know, and I think of that with COVID-19 and with the coronavirus and who it affects. You know, it is, at least the death rate is affecting the elderly more, people with past health issues more, and so we need to be aware of that. You know, and if we're gonna, you know, if I'm gonna go
it would
somewhere,
be very unloving for us.
Precisely. Yeah. If I'm gonna go somewhere where there are those people that may be more viable to it than I am, then that's on me. You know, that I need to be more aware of that. You know, whereas and I think that just applies to really, you know, the whole social distancing is because even if I come in and I affect you, then you might go out and affect someone else, and they might go out and it just goes on and on and on from there. Just
you go out
affecting
to the
one person. It's more than that.
Right.
It adds on.
I take it home to my family. I give it to my kids.
Right.
My kids carry it on to the neighbors down the street. So on and so forth. And so that my neighbors are mad at me, which in turn makes me mad at you.
Yes.
And then you get mad at whomever you work next to at the gym that didn't wipe down the
gym equipment.
The gym equipment.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And it just carries on and on and on. And I just, again, going back to Luther's quote here, he's just so aware of that. And I think we should strive to just pretty much do exactly what he does. Pray and go ahead.
No, go.
I was going to say, pray and just trust God, seek him through the whole entire situation. Obey the government. Social distancing is still important.
Right.
But at the same time, if there's someone that needs help, we should be the first, even if it's going to get in toilet paper, hand sanitizer, soap, groceries, even if we got to go to 20 stores. That's what we should be seeking to do as Christians and as the church and as two pastors in a pod, right? That's what we should be seeking to do.
What I was thinking before too is, oh shoot, I just forgot what I was going to say. Man, I forgot.
Well, I see you got some stuff here too. Do you want to go over that now, or do you want to stick here, or you want to?
Hold on, there was that thought that I had in my head. It's gonna absolutely drive me nuts now. It'll come to me.
It's okay. While you're thinking about it, I would be curious to see, because as I was reading, as I was studying this, I see these flight theologies that all these guys are writing.
I remember.
Go ahead. No, go. I will not forget this thought, so you go.
All right. So when the situation does arise, though, when somebody does turn up sick and they needed help, Luther was there.
Yes.
He was on call, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And at that point, he was more than willing to take the risk, whatever it was, because he felt bound to that particular neighbor or whomever it was in his house, that patient of his, to care for him. And so the same thing for us. You know, so if someone comes down sick, or if, you know, for instance, we are at a church where there are a few elderly people, if they need some help, you know, they don't want to go out to the store. I don't blame them. We should be more than willing to go out to the grocery store and get some groceries for them.
Whether they're sick or not.
Whether they're sick or not.
Yes.
And if they are sick, well then by all means, we need to step up as a church and we need to support them as best as possible.
Without a doubt.
But that's really still at the same time, not get infected. Like leave the groceries at the doorstep, ring the doorbell, and run.
And I think even beyond that, then almost doing a self-check of like, go from that point on, of our own symptoms. There are things online you can read about that says, hey, here's a way you can just check for yourself. Is this a possible, you know, do I have COVID? And you can go on and check that, because again, you don't want to go on helping all these people when you're carrying it yourself. You want to be sure. But if you are sure, and if you know that you're healthy, you should be striving to help people whether they're sick or not.
Cool. All right, man. Well, last week, Friday, I was a wreck. You probably could tell with some of the texts that I was sending you.
Yes.
I was absolutely, I don't know what the right word is, but just stressed out would probably be a good description as to what to do about Sunday. Do we have church? Do we not have church? you and I, we were constantly checking each other, or we were checking other churches in the
Yes,
area, their
we were.
Facebook pages.
Not
to
even in
see-
the area. I was looking everywhere.
Yeah,
to see
everywhere.
what they were
Like, do
doing.
we have church? Do we not?
Yes.
In the meantime, on my Twitter feed, it's like, this is shutting down.
Yes.
That is shutting down.
Yes.
Like, the cases of coronavirus have increased. The elderly are at higher risk.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh shoot, what do we do?
Mhm.
And then I stumbled upon this particular article right here. I heard it in a podcast, I think it was that day, or it might have come through on my Twitter feed, I can't remember. And then one of my buddies, he also sent it to me. It's from Nine Marks Ministry. Nine Marks Ministry comes from Capitol Hill Baptist Church, Mark Devers Church.
Okay, yeah.
He's in Washington, D.C. Absolutely fantastic ministry there, ninemarks.org. I don't know what it is.
I got you.
You got it? Okay. But there's an article on there, and it's written by Caleb Morale, and he talks about how churches in Washington, D.C. in 1918 during the Spanish flu, how they shut down for 3 weeks. And so I'm like, sweet. And there's, precedence here
Yeah.
as far as, shutting down church.
Yep.
And so that was my huge thing too. Even earlier last week, I remember thinking to myself, okay, and I know this is slightly out of context, but you go to the book of Hebrews, and Hebrews says, do not neglect not meeting together. The church needs to meet together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I do not want to not meet together as a church. I want to keep that going. But at the same time, like you were just talking about with Luther there, we got to be considerate
Yeah.
of our congregation.
For
We
sure.
don't want to put anybody at risk here. So anyways, they've got this article here, and it's kind of a long title here, but I'll just say it anyways. How DC churches responded when the government banned public gatherings during the Spanish flu of 1918. So he starts off this article, he says that basically at the very end of September of 1918 in Washington, D.C., oh wait, shoot, hold on for a second here. Let's back up the train.
Back it up.
Beep, beep, beep.
It is
Sorry,
Nine Marks.
sorry.
Ninemarks.org. is the website, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Back
sorry.
it up.
So, 1918, fall of 1918. Okay, there is approximately 430,000 people in that particular town.
Okay.
So quite a few people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Of those people during this pandemic, 50,000 people became infected,
Okay.
of which 3,000 people died. So there was a 16 to 12% mortality rate there. So much higher than
For sure.
coronavirus.
COVID-19.
COVID-19. There we go.
Yeah.
But still not as bad as the Black Plague
For sure.
of Luther's time. So the end of September is when the first cases of the Spanish flu started to come about and being recognized. October 1st of 1918, schools, stores were shut down. Okay, 3 days later, October 4th, there was a ban on public gatherings, and so that's
Sounds
your
familiar.
churches.
Yep.
So that's your churches, that's your theaters, that's your dance halls. Do we have dance halls? And we have clubs.
Yes.
We've got clubs.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Wait, do we have dance halls?
I don't know, like dance studios maybe? Is that different?
This is different.
No, different,
Yeah,
okay.
This is like clubs.
Sure,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
So anyways, October 4th, that comes down. There's a ban from the government, okay?
Okay.
Ban on public gatherings of churches. So that was a Friday.
Okay.
On that same day, there was a whole bunch of pastors from that particular area got together, and they had a meeting as to whether or not they were going to obey this particular ban. And so there was the meeting of the Protestant ministers, okay? And here is their basic conclusion, what they said at this particular meeting. And I quote, "Resolved, in view of the prevailing condition of our city," and then in parentheses, "the widespread prevalence of influenza that has called forth the request from the District of Columbia Commissioners for the temporary closing of all churches," end parentheses, "we, the Pastors Federation, in special assembly do place ourselves on record as cheerfully, I love that, cheerfully complying with the request of the commissioners, which we understand applies to all churches. And then they say this, we furthermore recommend that our people shall conduct in their own homes some form of religious worship, remembering in prayer especially the sick, our allied nations at war, this was at the end of World War I,
Yep.
and the present canvass for the Fourth Liberty Loan. And so there's their response. Basically, they went to their Bibles, they went to Romans 13:1, that
I just
basically
pulled it up.
said, did you?
I just pulled it up.
Okay, cool, go ahead, read it, man.
Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities. For there is no authority except that which God has established.
Yeah.
The authorities that exist have been established by God.
All right. So right there, they're basically saying, okay, this has come down from the government. We're going to submit ourselves to the government. But ultimately, what we recognize we're doing in closing our churches is that we're submitting ourselves to the authority of God, which is who has sovereignly placed those governing officials in place.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, so they're obeying God, but they're still encouraging worship to take place.
Yes, I love that.
So they say, I'm going to just repeat it. We furthermore recommend that our people shall conduct in their own homes some form of religious worship, remembering in prayer, especially the sick, and then they go on, our allied nations at war. So that convicted me.
Yeah.
You want to know what I did on Sunday morning? Well, I tried to put together a video to put on Facebook for our church.
Yes.
But did I do anything with my family? No.
Yeah.
Ouch. Right?
Yeah.
So here I am as the spiritual leader of the church here.
Yeah.
And then I would say even more so the spiritual leader of my family.
Yes.
And I see what they're calling for, and that's exactly in line with what the scriptures call for. We as husbands, we as fathers, we're supposed to be the spiritual leader in our families. And I sat at home and sat on Twitter freaking out about life and how the end of the world is coming.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, there's precedent here as far as submitting to the government.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
The article then goes on, and they shut down for 3 weeks. So
hold on, before you go on, let me mention this real quick. I like what they said too about meeting in your homes, with your families if you can. I think now where we're at, we have the ability to go online and do our first podcast. We can do devotional videos.
P-cubed, baby.
Yeah, that's right. We can do videos of devotions where they take us 5 takes or 500 takes.
Yeah,
you never know.
me on Sunday morning.
Exactly.
Sitting outside in the cold.
But we have the ability to still I know it's different than actually being in church and fellowshipping and handshakes and hugs and stuff like that, but we still have the ability to
interact with each other.
Interact and to learn together, to still grow together. And that's something I'm very thankful for.
Right.
But I think it's
we need to take advantage of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To not just say, hey, no church, but just say, yes, we're not having church this morning, but here's what we are doing.
Here's an option. Here's an alternative, and we're not completely shut off from each other.
Right. And even like we did this morning, it's
we did
Wednesday morning, we usually have prayer meeting here at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Social distancing, we couldn't do it. So that's okay. We went on Facebook Live and we did a prayer meeting on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
There are ways to still operate while still obeying and submitting to those who the Lord has put in place for us, in our government.
Yeah.
There's still ways to work with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm so thankful that we do have these technological options, that are available to us.
For sure.
But once again, I think of the shut-ins, that aren't as necessarily technologically savvy.
Yeah.
And so I think we, as the younger generation, however you want to put it, we probably do have the responsibility to reaching out to them, probably making some phone calls.
Yeah. At least, Luther would say, even, if you had the opportunity or if they get sick, go see them.
Yeah.
Luther didn't say in his article, I hopped on Facebook, and sent a message to so-and-so, but without a doubt. Without a doubt. That's a great point.
Without a doubt. There was a couple of other things in this article that I thought was pretty interesting. Towards the end of the high point of this particular pandemic in Washington, D.C., they started to meet together again, even though the ban hadn't been officially lifted. So they started to meet, but they would meet outdoors.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
So kind of similar here. Like I remember reading Governor Whitmer's her deal. Like there's no indoor gatherings larger, and I think it actually said indoor.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But anyways, so back in the day, 1918, they started to gather again. Like after the 3 weeks, they were getting a little stir crazy apparently, and then here it is. They even practiced social distancing when they began to regroup together. So in one of the advertisements, this is what they would do back in the day too, in the newspaper, they said this. This is one of the churches. All services scheduled for Washington churches today will be held outdoors, with the closing of churches by the commissioners, the pastors of the city have arranged for outdoor services. A majority of them have arranged for lawn services. Special care will be taken to see that the people are seated a good distance apart and that there is no danger of the spread of influenza. Social distancing.
There it is. Even the 6 foot rule when they're together.
There we go. There we go. There we go. So the article then just continues to go on. They actually came to a point where like the churches were like, enough is enough. They started to see that the numbers started to go down as far as the people that were infected and were dying.
Yeah.
Like I said, the high point had kind of passed on. And so they started to apply pressure to the government to allow them to officially come back together. So I'm interested to see how long this lasts here, and to see how churches here in America, or at least in Michigan, how long we go.
Yeah.
Because I mean, shoot, it's March 18th.
Yeah.
I mean, Easter's right around the corner.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we're going to be out for. What happens if it lasts till Easter?
Right.
We got to be together for Easter, don't you think?
I would think so.
I don't know what we're going to do there.
I know. And I'll even say...
That's tough. You know?
It is. Because like last Sunday, I woke up and I don't... Other than being extremely sick, I like never miss Sundays.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I was just like, this is so weird. It's like 11 o'clock and I'm in my house on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Something was clearly missing. And I missed it. I missed being in church with my church family, you know.
Yeah.
And for Easter Sunday, that would be even stranger to not be in church
bizarre.
on Easter Sunday.
I just can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
So, I know my whole week's all messed up. Like today's Wednesday, right?
I don't even know what day it is anymore.
I know. Like the days are all just blurry together for me now. So I don't really no idea what's going on.
It is Wednesday though. But yeah, I mean, and again, the first thing that Luther says, I keep going back to this quote again, but he says, "I shall ask God." Those are his first 4 words in his response.
That's
really
good.
And even though we have all of these concerns, what if we don't meet for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months? I just think we go week by week, trust in the Lord, and going to Him and just seeking what is your will through this situation. Maybe this is an open door for us to share the gospel with people who don't know Christ, who have never been to church before.
Right.
Or maybe all these churches firing up their YouTube channels and their Vimeos.
I was just thinking that same thing. Just imagine the impacts.
YouTube is probably being bombarded right now.
Churches and the gospel.
Yeah,
exactly. Going forth. Yeah.
So who knows how this will turn out on that end? Yeah. But I think in the meantime we just have to trust the Lord and seek His will through this situation.
I don't want to give away my sermon too much for this upcoming Sunday here, but we're in Genesis chapter 12. We're talking about Abraham here, and the one passage that I'm going to be preaching on this Sunday on video. That's going to be weird.
Yes.
But anyways, Genesis chapter 12, verse 10. So he gets to the promised land. He gets to Canaan. God tells Abram, "Hey, this is the land I'm going to give you." Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And so then what happens in verse 10, it says, "Now there was a famine in the land." And so what does Abraham do? He freaks out. I think he freaks out. I think he tells his wife, Sarai and Lot, "Pack your bags. We're getting out of town." Yeah. Instead of doing what Luther did, what did Luther did?
Stayed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but even look at what is the first few words of his quote there.
Oh yeah. Ask God.
Yeah. Instead of going to God.
Yeah.
Here's Abraham. He's saying, looking around the situation, saying, "Forget this. I gotta get out of here." And he goes down to Egypt, and he makes matters even worse. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll talk about that on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice little tease for your sermon there.
You like that? I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's that finite mindset as opposed to like the eternal mindset. I was thinking about how does this affect me here and now? It's a selfish mindset. Whereas if we think, and I hope if I was in Luther's situation, I would think like he did. I don't know if I would, but I just think he had this eternal mindset that, hey, I'm going to trust the Lord, whatever. And he says in here, I got to find it. If God should wish to take me, he will surely find me, and I have done what he has expected. He says, if the Lord wants me, he's going to come and get me, whether it's with the COVID virus or influenza or whatever it is, And so his mindset was, in the meantime,
I'm going to live it
up. I'm healthy. I'm going to live for him. Like Paul said, to live is Christ, to die is gain.
Right. Philippians 2 there. So. Yeah. All right, Rhett, man. I think that's good.
Yeah, that was really good.
We got something going on here.
We do. For the two pastors in a pod. PQ, P3, whatever we're calling this thing. I think that's pretty good.
I like it.
We'll see what feedback we get from the people.
Yeah, we'll see. So, all right, next week.
Do
it again.
We don't know what our topic is, but next week.
I'm sure. Who knows, man?
Yeah, that's right. It can go anywhere.
Changing.
It's true.
Everything is changing so fast.
We might be doing a social distance edition of our podcast next week. You from your house, me from my house.
There we go. So
we'll see.
All right, man. Elbow bump.
Let's do it.
Boom. All right.